Question number 40. The coding system typically used in digital telemetry is dash. Options PPM, PAM, PCM, PDM. This question is quite simple and you can answer within 30 seconds. But let us see the background of it. In the question, it is clearly given that it is a digital telemetry, not analog, a digital. By this, you can easily answer this question. So just I want to discuss the types of modulation techniques generally we'll use in communication system. In general, in any communication system, the modulation techniques used are of two types. One is a baseband modulation systems, passband modulation systems. Baseband modulation systems generally they are used for low frequency purpose, low frequency modulation systems, whereas passband modulation techniques are used whenever there is a high frequency requirement, high frequency modulation techniques. So the examples of low baseband modulation or low frequency modulation are of two types again. They can be either analog or they can be either digital. So under analog, the baseband analog modulation system examples are PAM, PAM, PWM, PPM, means pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation, pulse position modulation. Okay, so this PWM is sometimes called as PDM, pulse width modulation or pulse duration modulation. Both are same. Then coming to digital baseband modulation techniques, we have PCM, pulse code modulation, digital pulse code modulation, delta modulation, adaptive delta modulation. You need to memorize the baseband modulation techniques classified into two types, analog and digital. Under analog, the examples are PAM, PWM, PPM. Under digital, PCM, DPCM, DM and ADM. Whereas coming to passband or high frequency modulation techniques, the examples are ASK, amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying, phase shift keying, and finally quadrature amplitude modulation. For exams like ISRO or BARC or DRDL, only the names and which are used where will be asked, whereas for exams like GATE and IES, the details of ASK or FXK or any of these modulation techniques will be asked. So you need to know the details for those kind of exams. I'll be explaining you those details maybe in the next videos. So the right choice, let us see. The coding system typically used in digital telemetry, pulse position modulation, PPM, I already told this is an analog one, you can check. Pulse amplitude modulation, it's again an analog. Pulse duration, or I told pulse width modulation, it's an again analog modulation technique. Pulse code modulation, PCM, DPCM, DM and ADM. These four are digital modulation techniques. Okay, this is very simple. So the right choice is option C. You can answer this within 30 seconds. So easy question, you can easily score 3 marks. Thank you.